time has come for us to talk about more serious matters. We need to talk about dessert. We need to talk about dessert wine. We need to talk about taking life seriously. You get one shot, don't you, that we know of. Let's do this right. We have work to do, and it starts by considering why we drink wine. It is not good for us at all to drink wine. I know. Every week there's a study about how wine is good for you, and there's another study next week that says, JK, it's still drinking alcohol. Surprise, it's not that great for you. So we'll call it, chaotic neutral at best. But you know what's good for you? Vegetables. Does wine compare? No. This is the wine that your uncle is going to be so furious about. Well, you tell Uncle Jake he can sit down and shut up, because Moscato is its own grape, right? There's a billion varieties of it. It's planted in a billion countries in the world. There's a billion different kinds of wine made from Moscato. And so yeah, I get it. That $8 gas station bottle tastes like shampoo. And shampoo is sometimes delicious, but not all the time, right? Yeah. I'm going to share with you a wine that I dearly love that must be considered a light and a sweet and a desserty wine. I would love to sit out in a grassy field, feel the wind. Maybe I get a tree in the middle of this grassy field, and I can watch the breeze push all the sunny blades of grass together, rippling like a giant ocean, and I can just drink a damn bottle of that by myself. No glass necessary, right? Absolutely delicious. It is an elegant indulgence. This is Barbersville's Vallejo. It's a blend of Moscato and Vidal Blanc. That Vidal Blanc just gives it a little bit more acid in there. See, it's light color, light in the glass. And it smells like all of the flowers. I mean, maybe your uncle's a robot, right? Maybe he walks through beautiful fields and says, "Ugh, if only my senses weren't assaulted by so much vivid beauty." All of the flowers, right? You don't want that with cheesecake a little bit? Right? Like a big old strawberry bright cheesecake. Yeah, sweet, bright, delicious. I can't believe I'm having to make this point. In America, we love sweet things. That's our thing. We're not supposed to be too snotty and over elegant. We're supposed to be direct. We're supposed to appreciate the simple pleasures in life. Absolutely gorgeous. And you tell that uncle of yours next time he needs a little pick-me-up. We're taking that Moscato, we're taking that gin, we're taking this lemon, we're making them buddies. Boom. Next, something even more bright, vivid, dial it up a little more. Sauternes. Most of it's made in a little village about 40 miles south of Bordeaux. It is one of the world's most remarkable, distinctive dessert wines. And this little bottle is an operation who mainly buy up their grapes from little, kind of undersung, underknown producers. But they also are known to buy grapes from some of the big boys. Take a bottle like this, if it said Chateau d'Yquem on it, it would probably cost close to $500. So this little buddy sells for $20. So yeah, is it as big, as intense, as vivid? Nah, absolutely not. $20 next to 500. Ooh, you tell me. What I'm saying is it punches well the fuck above its weight. It's gorgeous. And if Uncle Jake wants to now all of a sudden turn into a real dessert wine connoisseur, an aficionado, and tell us, he only drinks Chateau d'Yquem, well, he can bring the bottles next time. Ooh. Not quite the color of hangover Pete, but getting pretty close. The thing that makes Sauternes so wild and so interesting is something called the noble rot, the botrytis. It basically is a mold, a fungus. I think it's a fungus. I'm not in the vineyard. I'm not making this. I'm not a chemist. You don't need to rely on me for the explanation of what exactly it is. It condenses all the grapes and it makes all the flavors super vivid. The water is gone from these grapes, so it's just these little kind of like almost raisinized berries hanging on the vine. And it also makes them smell full of just this wild, like honey-rich notion. We have to talk about the contrabandista. Two kinds of sherry that we need to think about, and this one lives between them. You can get super complicated. This is not the be-all end-all of sherry, but there's pheno, right? It lives under floor. FLOR, it's like pond scum. It's magnificent because it keeps the wine protected from the air, right? Absolutely like a wine of finesse. You think of pheno sherry as like the white wine of sherry. There's another kind where you just dump a bunch of extra fortifying booze in there to keep it from oxidizing and let it age slowly. That's called oloroso. These are the bookends, right? You have big, powerful, super rich. And then you have like light, ephemeral, full of these light, delicate flavors. They do different things, but Amontillado lives halfway between them, right? Amontillado lives the first half of its life as a pheno, right? Growing up with all that pond scum to protect it from predators. It is beautiful, circle of life, nature documentaries, right? And then someone comes and takes it away and dumps a bunch of booze in there, and it gets a little tougher. But you get a wine that's halfway between the most powerful and the most finesse-driven, and it's its own monster. And this little buddy has a tiny touch of Pedro Jimenez or the sweet sherry grapes added, just like 5%. So there's a little bit of extra sweetness. There's richness that comes from being like full-bodied, and then it's just these rich, nutty, earthy smells. It's all about all of the pleasant, earthy smells. You know, you think cocoa, you think hazelnuts, you think all the beautiful, almost adjacent to bitter, earthy things we love come together to make this rich as a draft of poppies. The thing that is so hard to describe about why sherry is incredible is it's got all these big, bustling, busy flavors, but it's got this almost like watery finish. You say watery and everyone's like, oh yeah, like Bud Light. Not like Bud Light, like no. It's just like almost evaporates like that Rachmaninoff prelude that goes dun 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 dun, and then it goes like out of nowhere, right? Like, I don't know. Again, not a music historian either. I'm not real good at that, but I know that piece is super intense and moody and heavy, and it just like marches along, and then at the end it's like, well, we're done. See you guys at lunch. Like, that's the kind of balance this has got. It's definitely boozy. It'll keep you warm if you're going out shooting with the contrabandista one cold, foggy morning, but honestly, little baby chill. I just want pistachios with this now, you know? Woof, woof, woof. Cannot imagine how angry Uncle Jake is right now that we're about to drink some of this Madeira. Woof. Tell you what, the island of Madeira was a very popular stop along the transatlantic shipping routes, which means many things. Probably the slave trade was involved, and that is shameful, shady shit. Don't you go listening to anyone who says we shouldn't start from that. But as colonialism does, it meant that the spread of wine grapes from all manner parts in the world where they should and or shouldn't be was a kind of chaotic, gorgeous mess as far as getting grapes to where they should be. The island of Madeira was basically set up by the Portuguese to grow a bunch of wines they got from Crete. One called Malvasia in particular. There's a whole long ass history there, but what we need to know today is that number one, Madeira is criminally underrated still. But that makes it an excellent opportunity for you to buy that bottle that shuts Uncle Jake up, that he tastes it and he gasps. And or, like what happened on my rehearsal dinner night, we went through amazing wines. You know, everyone was having a great time. And then the very last thing we brought out was a bottle of 10-year-old Verdejo. Verdejo. I don't know, how do you guys say it? My Portuguese is not that good. It wrecked everybody. People were, you know, a little drunk and convivial. You know, it was a celebration, a long, beautiful evening of wine and food. And then Madeira came in and just ended folks because it tastes so vivid, so bright, it's so balanced, and you can't help but ask for, yeah, I'll have another glass of that, even if you shouldn't. 4 things we need to know about grapes in Madeira. Cercial, Verdejo, Boal, Malvasia, or Malmsey. What we need to know is they kind of move in that order, right? This is the lightest they got. It's considered, quote, dessert wine on a lot of menus. And there's certainly some sugar here, but really, most people use Cercial as an appetizer even, right? Like an aperitif wine. On the island, they put it with this like kind of this swordfish adjacent critter with like mushroom soups. It's incredible. It sits around in these barrels in these hot rooms, and they let it almost cook, but not really. You can make super cheap nothing Madeira. They have a completely different method to do that. I mean, what you see like cooking Madeira, that's full of weird things. Like, don't buy that from the grocery store. Get some rainwater Madeira to cook with, right? Like, perfectly fine. But something like that. Sat around waiting for us for 10 years. That is so dense with beautiful aromas, and they're contradictory aromas, right? Like a lot of similar elements to what we loved in that sherry, maybe a fuller body, and just vicious, beautiful acidity to keep it all upright, keep everyone on their toes. It's bright, it's magical, it brings all the elements in perfect concert. It really is, it's deep and nutty in a way. It's really rich, but it's almost like citrusy too. I have been Snug. It has been an honor to plow this lonely furrow for you. And I cannot wait to get into the leftovers from this tasting. Enjoy your lives. Fill them with as much feasting as you see fit. Do your thing. Yeah, I think that's an A.